Here's a look at your market recap on this Friday, the 3rd day of January. Before we get into the markets, just a couple of announcements. China livestock market, they were scheduled to have their first sale of the year this coming Monday, but due to the approaching storm and the fact they were expecting to have somewhere around 2,000 head, they have decided to delay that sale. And instead of Monday being sale day, they will have a sale on Wednesday, which will be January the 8th. It'll be at the normal time at 11 o'clock. But again, China has delayed their sale from Monday until Wednesday. It's likely once early next week gets here, several other sales will be either shorter offerings or maybe delayed or postponed as well. Couple other announcements real fast. We've got the hay auction this Saturday, tomorrow. It'll be at 10 a.m. sharp. That's Southwest Missouri Hay Auctions. You can find their listings on Facebook. Just search Southwest Missouri Hay Auctions. Looks like they're going to probably have the biggest auction to date so far. And they've got everything from some grinding hay to some alfalfa that's tested in the big square bales. 21.9% protein with a relative feed value of 211. They've got everything in between as well. A lot of square bales that'll be sold in either 14 or 21 bale bundles, and a lot of big round bales, some good quality brome hay that's been tested, some alfalfa in the round bales, just about anything anyone would want. And if that's too far away from you, of course, you can always check out our hay directory on our website, agmarketnews.mo.gov. There's a lot of listings from about every county in the state right now, so no shortage of hay anywhere, so don't get caught with an empty barn before that snow comes. Taking a look at our markets now. Today is a special pre-vax sale at the Ozarks Regional Stockyards in West Plains. They're expecting a huge run today. They had over 4,500 head in the barn before the sale even started this morning, expecting they're going to end up with somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 head before it's all done. Several consigners and producers in the area decide to try to beat the storm and get ahead of the sale next week when they were actually planning on marketing. And of course, the markets are hot right now, so everybody wants to get in on that. Take a look at the way some of the cattle are selling midway through the sale. The steers, medium and large ones, 400 to 500 pounds, $342.5 to $400. 5 to 6 weights at $302.50 to $355. 6 to 7 weight steers at $272.5 to $307.50. 7 to 8 weights at $250 to $287. 8 to 9 weight steers at $250 to $266. A full load of 906 pound steers brought $246.50. The heifers in West Plains, medium and large ones, 400 to 500 pounds, $312.5 to $360 on some thin-fleshed heifers. 5 to 6 weights, $267.5 up to $325. 6 to 7 weight heifers at $252 to $274. Some 7 to 8 weight heifers at $250 to $263. Box beef cutout values. Choice closed the day up $1.76 at $325.24. Select at $296.72 up $249. Those values based on 149 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds, and the Choice Select spread setting at $28.52. Negotiated feedlot trade. As of the 2 o'clock cutoff time today, 69,000 head reported. Texas had 2,500, 195 to 197. Kansas, 9,000 head, mostly all at 197. Iowa reported about 16,000 head, 198 to 201. The dress sales at 310 to 315, with a few up to 320. Nebraska, they reported 25,500 head, 198 to 201. The dress sales at 312 to 315. Could be a few scattered sales that come in around after that 2 o'clock cutoff time. So early next week, we'll get the weighted average prices. But so far on the live side, those weighted average prices just a few cents from the weighted average price hitting that $2 mark. The Missouri Stocker formula, that takes into account all of the feeder cattle sales here in the state of Missouri. It's based off of kind of mirroring the feeder cattle index, but instead of being the bigger cattle, it's the 400 to 649 pound steers in the state. That index price, as we get some auctions back going, at $324.70 with almost 6,000 head figured into the index. That $324.70 would be at an all-time record high for the formula, and we've been doing that for 7 or 8 years now, it seems like. Taking a look at the closing futures markets, the feeder cattle index, we'll start with that because that's about the only highlight when we talk about the futures. And of course, that index is based on actual cash sales through the 12-state region, 265.76. That's an all-time record high for the feeder cattle index. And of course, that's based on an 800-pound steer through the 12-state feeder region. Live cattle futures, February closed 45 cents higher. That's about the only green anywhere today, 194.05. April down a nickel, 196. June down 67, 190.67. January feeder cattle, 264.82, down $1.65. March at 264.17, down 202. Lean hogs for February, 80.77, down 37. April, 85.77, down 77. Turning our attention to the grain markets now. Everything with grains was just pretty much ugly today. Soybeans at the elevators around the state, 20 to 21 lower. Wheat, 16 to 19 lower. Corn, 8 to 10 lower. Grain sorghum, 8 cents lower. Corn bids in St. Louis, 468 to 469. Kansas City, 410 to 452. Grain sorghum in St. Louis at 425. Kansas City at 435. Soybean bids, St. Louis, 1017 to 1018. Kansas City, 941 to 981. Wheat bids in St. Louis, 549. Kansas City, 499. On the Board of Trade, all the grains showed a lot of red today. About the only reason that I could find anywhere was due to soybeans, and that was with reports that are expected out on yields from South America. They're expecting to have bumper crops down there, and that put a lot of pressure on the soybean market today, and it just kind of spilled over everywhere. The daily losses were awfully ugly, but for the week, it wasn't really nearly as bad, even a few gains on some of the commodities for the week. Anyhow, closing on Friday, corn contracts 8 to 9 lower. March 450 3/4, May at 458 1/4. Soybeans were anywhere from 18.5 to 21 1/4 lower. January at 981, March at 991 3/4. Wheat contracts, they were 12 to 16.5 lower. March at 529 1/4, May 541. Soybean meal for January down $11 a ton at $299.90. Soybean oil for January, $39.40 a hundredweight, down 32 points. That's a recap of your markets for Friday. Everybody be careful out there ahead of the snow. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's your farm news. This is Tony Hancock.